Hello, beautiful one. Let's talk about the inner child, as this is one of the most important sides, parts of you that you need to address in your inner process, in your evolution process. If you don't know me, if it's the first time you see me or you get in contact with me, I am an alchemist, an energetic and emotional alchemist. I'm also an intuitive astrologer, and I work with women for more than 10 years now. I support women to get in contact with their own inner ancestral wisdom and to live a life that is guided from within, from their inner truth, being who they truly are wholly as a woman, embracing all the inner parts. And one of these parts that is maybe the most important when we start working with ourselves is the inner child, the little inner girl. You might have heard about it, you might have read about it, you might have even worked a little bit with it. And I'm coming today here to clarify some aspects and maybe to give you some insights on a deeper level. As I said, I have been working with hundreds, maybe thousands of women along the 10 years since I'm on this mission, and there wasn't one woman that wasn't experiencing some kind of trauma or micro trauma from childhood. Now, before we get very deep on this, let me explain a little bit this concept. When you were a little child, a little girl, you experienced repeatedly different moments and contexts, usually with your parents or grandparents, that were traumatic to you in the sense that you felt abandoned, you felt alone, you felt rejected, you felt humiliated, you felt like no one listens to you, like you're not important, like you're bad, like something is wrong with you, like you're not worthy of their attention and you're kind of insignificant. You were even abused and lived multiple moments in fear and anxiety, especially if you come from a violent household. You were hiding under the bed, in your room, in different places, and you constantly feared what's gonna come next. These moments that can be translated in contexts that are abusive in a very obvious way, but as well, little traumas appear when, for example, your mom just gives you the look, or when she like shushes you, like shut up, like you don't know nothing, you stupid child. This is in itself a moment where you have been experiencing an emotion of I'm not important, I'm sad because my mom doesn't see me. Of course, as a little kid, you cannot like rationalize this, you cannot explain this on a mental level, you just feel what you feel. And I invite you to take a look inside of you in your childhood, and maybe, some of these moments pop up, and some of the words you heard or the looks you were given, or maybe a spanking, or, you're punished for something repeatedly, come up, so that you can connect a little bit with the little girl inside of you that felt repeatedly those kind of emotions. Well, when you felt those emotions, there was no one there witnessing that. There was no one there to hold you and the little girl. There was no one there telling you it is okay what you feel, or I'm sorry that you are hurt, or to give you a hug. So there was no witness to your pain, to the little or bigger trauma you were experiencing in that moment. So what you did was internalize that emotion, internalize that trauma, and from that point on, you started modifying yourself, becoming more and more someone else, so that you can receive the attention, the validation, the acceptance of your parents. You started to behave in a different way, to speak in a different way, and to push down all of those parts of you, those emotions, those expressions of you that were not accepted, that you were punished for, humiliated for, abandoned for, and so on. That part of you is still in there. That part of you is the one that rules your life right now. That part of you is the part of you that feels now in your daily life criticized, abandoned, not important, not heard, and so on and so forth. Even though you might be a grown-up woman and biologically you are 30, 40 years old or 50 or whatever, there is this instance inside of you, this part of you, the little inner child, the little girl, that it's still there, she's still traumatized, and she's still captive on an emotional level, frozen in those contexts in time, where she still feels frightened, for example, or abandoned, or alone, or scared, you know? And that part of you is not disappearing anywhere just because you grew up and you biologically have an age, a certain age. That part is the one that reacts, for example, when someone tells you something, when someone is disrespectful, when someone maybe doesn't answer your phone, or when someone abandons you. That part is the one that is now feeling all those feelings again, and these are the triggers that you might already know about. So, what am I saying with this? Is that if you want to experience a life where you feel peaceful inside, where you feel well and good inside, where you are, just at peace with who you are, if you want to experience the happiness, the joy, all those good things that we all want in our lives, the path is through the inner child wounds, is going inside of you and working through all those triggers. As an example, for instance, when you meet with someone and they tell you something, or maybe they ignore you, or maybe they give you a look, and you feel triggered in that moment, like, I'm not important, I'm not enough, I feel rejected. That's a moment, that's a trigger, that it's an invitation for you to actually address it, to take time and to breathe in and to go deeper within in that emotion, in that feeling that is stored in your body, because all those emotions and moments where you are traumatized are stored in your body. And this is, in brackets, one of the reasons why we're very disconnected from our body, because the body keeps the score and we do not want to feel. We want to protect ourselves and not feel the pain or the sadness or, all those feelings you felt as a child. But guess what? They're still there. They're captive in your body. And this is why you react and you're triggered in your daily life the way that you are. So when you work in therapy in a safe space and you do this inner process, to deal with the traumas of the inner child, with her anger, with her sadness, with her pain, and whatever else is there, we deal with this instance. We make room, we make space for your little girl, inner girl, to express herself. We allow her to be angry. We allow her to express her anger or her sadness. We allow her, to be witnessed feeling all these feelings, so that we can recreate this powerful connection between me, the adult, and her, the child, so that I can learn how to become this mother, this inner mother that actually cares for the child, for her feelings, for who she really actually is. You cannot expect to feel happy and peaceful and harmonious just because you know things, just because you learned a lot from courses, or you read them in books, or because you know how to make some connections on a psychological, mental level. Just because you, for example, did a meditation connecting with the inner child, or you talked about it and you know the concept, or you know that some stuff comes from childhood, that doesn't actually bring a transformation, that doesn't bring a healing inside of you, so that you can step forward in life not feeling those triggers anymore, Until you learn how to create this friendship with your inner child, and until you dive deep into her feelings and allow yourself to actually feel those emotions, things are not going to change very much. This is something that I experience over and over again in my practice, in my therapies. When I meet these beautiful women that are very intelligent, very smart, that search a lot because they are interested in their own evolution, and they reach a point where they understand that it's not enough anymore to know or to go to group sessions or to read books or go to courses, and they need a very personalized, deeper level of support and therapy, which means that I create this space where I hold you and I guide you to go inside of you, to process those emotions that are still there, to connect with your inner goal and know how to, hold her hand, tell her what she needs to hear, validate her, be that good mom. And this means that you actually would need to work on the relationship with your parents. This means a lot of like purifications of contracts, loyalty contracts, and promises that you made towards your parents. This means that you go through the stage where you need to let out all your anger or your sadness towards your parents. This means a very deep recalibration from within. And this is a very essential step if you want to live as an empowered woman, a mature woman in this world. If you want to be able to actually be very aware of what you feel, be aware of your triggers, be aware of your behavior and thoughts, and to be able to actually process them, deal with them yourself. Skipping this step that means working on an emotional, energetical level with your inner child is just a way of you avoiding the pain and avoiding that deeper work that you actually know you need to do, but maybe you're not prepared for it right now, or you let your mind convince you that if you go there deeper and deeper, what will happen? Oh my God, there's going to be a monster inside of me. Well, even if there is a monster inside of you, it is a part of you that holds truth, and it is a part of you that waits for you to connect with it so that you can see what it's the gift that it holds for you. We tend to think that if we were children and we had a childhood that was not maybe very pleasant, that was that. We grew up, that's in the past. Why do I need to go there? That's not what is now. And we tend to rationalize from the adult that we are, from our minds, and from protective mechanisms that our parents did their best and that it is just water under the bridge and we need to move on. On a certain level, this is true. They did their best, and they did whatever they could with what they had. And in the same time, the little child within you is still there, suffering in pain and sad and abandoned, and waiting for someone to see her. That is why you are desperate for attention. That is why you are clinging on people and relationships. That is why you feel this need to demonstrate all the time that you're better, that you're good, that you're smarter, that you can do it, so that you receive on a subtle, unconscious level that attention, that love, that validation from your parents. And in life, parents can be bosses, friends, random people on the street that trigger you so that you can pay attention and become aware of the root cause, which is, again, the little girl within you with her feelings, with her emotions that were not processed until now. So the deeper level in any therapeutical process is actually going beneath the mind and below the surface and access the feeling, the energetics, and the inner space, the bodily space, the somatic space as well, because the body tells you the truth. And when you go into this deeper space with someone, for example, like me, that can hold you and that can guide you and that can show you how to process all that intensity inside of you, step by step, you get empowered. You know how to do that for yourself. You create this beautiful, supportive relationship and friendship with your inner child so that you actually can step into maturity, and the inner child wounds are not the ones that do the work for you in your life, are not the ones that lead you actually, because until a certain point you are led by those wounds. You don't even know it. When you do the work, you step into this empowered woman, this mature woman, the self-aware woman, the woman that is connected actually to what she feels, and she doesn't reject the feelings anymore. She's not afraid of feelings anymore. She can do the inner work by herself, she reconnects with her heart, with her body, with her womb, with the innate wisdom inside of you. She reconnects with God, and she steps into this world with so much less triggering along the way. Because again, this is a process. This is not something that is solved in a session or in 2 sessions or even in 2 months. If someone promises you healing the inner child in 2 or 3 months or in a session or in a course, that is just an illusion. It's just not the truth, because there are layers and layers and layers to this work. I myself am doing this work for a lot of years. Each client and each therapy session is an opportunity for me to see if there's something else that is triggering me, if I need to go deeper on a different angle, maybe something that I didn't see before. And it's an ongoing creation of this beautiful, supportive relationship with yourself, so that you begin to actually trust who you are, trust your opinions, trust your feelings, trust yourself, like yourself, accept yourself, stop criticizing yourself, and actually, manifesting that life and those things in your life that you always wanted to manifest, but you couldn't because all those triggers were always in the way. Because all of this, for example, bubbling anger and sadness were there inside of you, suppressed, and you didn't know what to do with it. You thought that maybe if you meditate, if you I don't know, go to different classes, or if you apply some techniques that you learn, that will do the trick. No, that doesn't do the trick. That is just like a band-aid, a supportive thing for the moment, but it's not the healing from the root thing that you need. So my dear, in short, you cannot reach the place that you want to reach in this life if you don't go through healing the relationship with your inner girl, because this means stepping into maturity. This means actually dealing with everything that you have suppressed, that is still there, that is still very real, and I gave you some examples before, so that you don't just apply band-aids, but you allow yourself to become whole again through feeling, and become an empowered woman that can manifest that beautiful dream life that you want, with less and less triggers as you do the work through time. If this is something that inspires you, if this is something that brings you some clarity, I really appreciate your comment below. Let me know what is your takeaway from this micro training today on the inner child. And as well, you are welcome to send me a message so we can see if we can work together, and if I'm the person for this process that you might be just prepared for at this moment in your life. I'm happy to be here and to connect with you. Thank you so much, and see you soon.